Christie Aphrodite of Soul Journeys Radio and mytrueessence.net. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about a topic that's been coming up a lot. Black magic, left-hand path, white magic, etc. And, I'm certainly not an expert on these topics. If you're looking for an expert, I would definitely recommend Tobias Lars or Shaman Avalon Shakti. I just simply want to talk about my experiences because, a lot of people hold the same belief that I held for 30-something years. I thought that if you don't believe in it, it doesn't exist. Therefore, even if it did exist, it can't affect you. And boy, oh boy, was I wrong. I was so naive, as many of us are. I think most of us have pure hearts and good intentions, and we just, when something like that comes up, we don't know how to recognize it. So we end up having, physical symptoms, and we run to a doctor and take a drug or get diagnosed with a heart condition or cancer or things like that. But, it was, I'll tell you my first experience of realizing that there was in fact black magic going on. And there could have been black magic going on earlier in my life, but I was just too naive and just I blocked it out. And that doesn't exist, I don't believe in it. And we create our reality, right? So if we're not hurting anyone and we don't believe in that, it can affect us. Okay, well, I was in Louisiana about a little over 3 years ago, I think, maybe 3.5 years ago. And I was visiting a woman. I was over there with her and her friends and my children. And we were just hanging out in the kitchen talking about what we were going to do. And in a moment, literally, it felt like I got hit by an arrow or stabbed with a sword. It was just, oh my God, excruciating. I ended up on the ground and just felt like, oh my God, it feels like I'm bleeding, and what the heck, it was right in my hip here. And anyways, of course, as luck would have it, the people I was with happened to know what it was, and they called it a poison arrow, which I had never heard of up until that point. I never felt the need to study or even pay attention to any of the dark arts, because once again, I thought they didn't exist, and I was just going to go live in my happy little bubble and nothing would ever affect me. Well, anyways, so that was very, very real. Obviously, we couldn't see the arrows. Some people call them shamanic darts, and, they could actually put hooks in you and drain you of your energy or life force, or, keep you from doing all sorts of things, really, or just even by keeping you a little bit sedated or physically ill, it will keep you from being all that you can be. And the reason they did this to me, I have no idea. However, I'm super thankful because it was really, really eye-opening. Anyways, so that was my first experience of knowingly being affected by black magic. And anyways, fast forward, a couple years later, and I was still in the dark. I still felt, well, if I'm clean, then I can't be affected by darkness, right? And we're told that, we're taught that, oh, well, like attract like, so, or like attracts like, so, you can only attract dark or have darkness in your life if you are dark yourself. And you know what? That's total garbage, okay? It's total garbage. Bad things happen to good people all the time. And, I hesitate to even use those labels, bad and good and such. In the universe, there really is, to me, they're teaching experiences that, once again, I am grateful for. But I had another, I'll talk about my most recent experience in my naivety. Someone asked me, can I have your address? I'd like to send you a gift. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It was someone I hadn't talked to for a couple years, kind of disappeared off the scenes, and then came back and, was trying to kind of get his clenches into me. So I stupidly gave him my address. He sent me this gift. And, with this big long letter, beautiful flowery words. It was, Christie, you're so great. We're adopting you, blah, blah, blah. You're the one. And all of these dumb things that, we kind of want to fall for or believe it's real. And, I did notice that there was a different kind of energy going on, but once again, I was naive and not well versed in this stuff, so I didn't realize that the darkness that was happening what could be attributed to that gift. So let's see. Right after I received that, all hell broke loose. Different types of harassment, petty little arguments and weird things. My dog got sick, like literally overnight. I mean, went from perfectly healthy and happy and vibrant and running around to dying of cancer and on her deathbed in literally no time. No time at all. And see, this was in September. So September was my birthday, and we went camping in Arkansas. So I'm just thinking, that's weird. Maybe my little baby, got bit by bugs or something. So why don't I just wash her and, treat her for bugs? Well, after a while, it wasn't getting better. It was getting worse, like really worse, super fast. I'm thinking, well, maybe it's worms, or maybe it's parasites, or maybe it's, some type of blood infection, based on the way it spread so quickly. Her entire body broke out, losing hair, everything, which if it was real cancer that came on naturally, wouldn't have happened that quickly. Okay, there would have been signs and such ahead of time, but stupid me, just like, I guess, a mainstream doctor, I was treating all of the physical symptoms without even looking at the energetic cause. Now, what's even more retarded and embarrassing on my part is I was having dreams and visions during this, but I wasn't believing them and I wasn't heeding the message. In fact, one of them, my dog was in bed with me, where she usually always is, and right at my feet, and in the vision, there were all these bugs, just multiplying tremendously, but they weren't any bug that I had recognized, kind of like a cockroach, but not really. And, we don't have cockroaches or bugs or anything, but, I took that dream to mean that, in it, I was just, there was nothing that I could do to stop it physically. But I just woke up and went about my daily business and figured, oh my gosh, well, maybe she has some kind of invisible bug that's multiplying rapidly, and, let's treat her for that. Okay, so anyways, there she was, really, really bad come October, and November comes around. I was supposed to be going out of town. I was going to go visit my producer and a few other people down on the Gulf Coast and then go to Georgia. And the smell on my dog was just, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to explain it. It wasn't sulfur. Okay, I know people ask that all the time. Was it? And I've smelt that smell, by the way, too. That was like 15 years ago, but I attributed that to something else. So maybe I'll get back to that story because it was, in fact, demonic and dark, but I was just too dumb and naive to realize it. So anyways, the smell just like permeated everything. And to be honest with you, I even started getting this kind of funky odor that it didn't matter. We're in winter. It's like 20 degrees, 15 degrees. It's below freezing all the time. I'm definitely not sweating or working out or doing anything that would cause excessive sweat or any type of body odor. Plus my diet is pretty much immaculate. I was almost all raw, like, totally vegan, not having anything that would cause that type of issue. I would take a shower, 3 minutes later, I still had that weird little odor. Anyways, So November, I ended up canceling that trip, but one day I woke up and decided, well, we should go to Georgia because my friend there has 5 younger dogs, and maybe that younger dog energy will be good for my baby, and, it'll make her want to eat and make her want to drink and, the whole competition thing. So we decided to go down there. After I let her know, I'm like, okay, are you sure? I mean, I canceled it because Snick's in really bad shape, and I don't want to invade anybody else's home or have you put up with, things that you don't have to put up with when you already have 5 dogs, right? She's like, oh no, come on down, come on down. So we went, and it was really, really hard. But of course we didn't have that gift with us. We got there, and it worked like a charm. She gets out of the car, and she runs straight for their food bowl and straight for their water bowl, and she was eating 2 full meals a day, which she had gone like a week at a time without eating, not going to the bathroom, not even going outside, getting up at all. Super, super skinny, and just, oh my God. I was scared to death, okay? Whew, so we're down there for a week, and she starts to heal, like made an immense improvement. And then we go back home, and I'm thinking, yay, she's almost all better, woohoo! And we get here, and what happens? She's sick again, instantly. And not to say that she got 100% better, but, she was definitely like 80% or so better from that week out of the home. And we get back home. Same symptoms, everything started happening again. She wouldn't eat again. She wouldn't go outside again, wouldn't go to the bathroom. And I'm just like racking my brain trying to think, they put in a new smart meter. Did somebody, put something in my home? And if so, why aren't I sick too? And, then I had to remember, well, I do, I'm not feeling that energetic, and there is something weird, with that little odor. What the heck is going on? Please show me. And every time I tried to meditate or to see what was going on, I was blocked. And not only was I blocked, oh my gosh, I was like hijacked. For instance, I would go in to try to see something, and I would see one little piece of it, and then it would switch to, I'll share one of them with you. It's kind of freaky. But anyways, my daughter was sitting right next to me in bed, and it was more real than this. I mean, anything. And, I fell for it for a little bit. We're laughing and giggling and playing. And then I realized, wait a minute, honey, you haven't been here for 2.5 years. What's really going on? Who are you? What is this? And as soon as I asked that question and started to, I guess, resist, per se, I was thrown into, I don't even know how to describe it. As I told you, I'm not very experienced in this stuff, but they used my cell phone as, see, as far as this vision is concerned, I really thought that I was holding it in my hand. And it was playing, it started off with all these really cool geometric patterns, really bright colors, almost like some kind of portal it was trying to suck me into. And I was feeling that. So then it would relax for a minute and then show me my life story, like a movie, real life situations, experiences that I had had. And, it'd go on, and so I'd relax a little bit. Oh, yeah, well, that's cool. Is this like a near-death experience? What the heck's going on here? But at least I felt more comfortable because it was something I knew. Yes, that's me. Yes, that's a real-life experience. I don't know how this is happening. What the heck? Crazy things happen, so just go along with it. Then they would hijack it. It would come to like a screeching halt. And then it would turn everything into this like vampiric, demonic, sad, angry, like even in some of them, they put like that, I don't want to call it gothic, but like, how you have like the black eyeshadow around the eyes, like really big and super dark, but really drained. And, it just, I don't know, like I kind of turned into a monster, and like everything around me, like it was the real instant. It was a real situation up until that instant, and then they turned it around to, a totally different outcome. So I'm like, whoa, okay, what's going on here? Something's not right. And so here I am trying to turn my cell phone off. I really believe I have my cell phone in my hand. I physically felt it, even though it was nowhere near me. I was sitting up in bed, okay? Um, oh, weird. I'm getting a little excited, trying to recall some of this. But then I remembered my grandmother told me when I was a young girl, if you're in kind of a demonic type situation, you can say, "Get thee behind me, Satan," and watch it disappear, which had pretty much worked for me in other situations throughout my life. So I remembered that, and I tried to say it, but something was stopping my voice. Nothing would come out. So I'm like, what do I do? Okay, well, let's think it really loud. I'm like, trying to push it out. Like, it was a full-on struggle. I mean, like I said, this is more real, or at least as real as this. So then I finally was able to say it out loud. "Get thee behind me, Satan!" And I found myself coming to, waking up, even though I was totally awake. I was not asleep. This is not a dream. But I woke up. Oh, I was paralyzed. I forgot to tell you that. I could not even move my body, which is, I guess, why I couldn't get the sound to come out of my mouth, and why I thought I was turning my phone off, literally holding it here, but my hands were on my side the whole time. Is weird. So anyways, I finally got that out. "Get thee behind me, Satan!" And then this really big, loud, crashing, I don't even know how to explain it, but maybe imagine a big train, driving right through your house, 5 feet from your bed, or a big, jet airliner or something landing in your backyard. I mean, super loud. It sounded like crashing metal, really, but, oh man, it was weird. The walls were shaking, and I don't know if they really were physically, but to me they were. The walls were shaking, everything was shaking, and I had slipped out of whatever weird dimension I was in, where I was paralyzed and being controlled in this vision, to, in my bed, speaking out loud, "Get thee behind me, Satan!" What the hell just happened, Anyway, so I grabbed a good book and tried to go to bed and just think, oh, what the hell was that? I don't want to look into that again, because every time I try to look into this, I get blocked and get threatened and harassed. So, I kind of gave up, but still, you would have think I would have known what was going on. I didn't. Anyways, so I went on this road trip in December, and went to go to a so-called honoring ceremony and visit with a few people in Arizona. And this is where things really started to make sense. The person that had sent me the gift was one of the people that I was visiting there for the honoring ceremony. And, of course, during the ceremony, I think I posted a video, so there's really not much to say about it. I'll just say this: he didn't, debrief us on what was being honored or what was going on, and actually there was really no talking or anything allowed at all, not even after, except for when he wanted to talk about sex and try to convince us that the only way that we can see into the other dimensions and experience magic is by having sex with him and his cult, and having our wee-wee, our pee-pee licked, minimum 7 times, or 7 orgasms in a row. That's the only way we can, see magic or see into the other worlds. And I'm just thinking, okay, this is a little bit creepy. I didn't know you were running a sex cult. I knew something was off, but not that. I didn't know. Anyways, later during that conversation, he had basically threatened me, and he's very sly, very sly. So it wasn't like, if you don't do this, I'm going to do that to you. It was more like, hey, how are you? Oh, by the way, I have some Brujo friends, and they use animals to hurt people. And, I was just, at this point in time, I knew something was off, so I was kind of just, blocking out what he was saying, but, I was still nonetheless, because there was other people there and I didn't want to be rude or anything. And, another thing that was interesting, getting back to my dreams and part of the experiences during this black magic awakening experience, there were 3 other people there that I had never met before or anything, yet I just knew when I saw them, God, you guys look so familiar. Where do I know you from? Have we crossed paths before? Where you live? Where have we been to an event together? Do you have a Facebook? Are you, have I seen photos of you online or what? Asking all these questions. And, the end result was no. We had never crossed paths physically, nor do they have Facebook or any photos of themselves online anywhere. So the person who sent me the gift said, Christie, maybe it's from your dreams. Oh my God, I got chills everywhere when he said that. And I knew that he was the one that was blocking me. Because every time I tried to go look into what was going on, the only clear vision that I came away with was he was wanting me to walk through a door and I didn't want to go. And there was kind of a struggle. And funny thing about the door, there was this really loud knock on one of my doors. Or maybe it was there, maybe it wasn't, but it woke me up and I ran out there and there was no one there. So, I don't know. It is kind of weird. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because, I know other people are going through things like this, maybe not exactly, but similar, and you might be wanting to treat your dog or yourself for physical reasons when it's actually energetic, okay? And, I feel really stupid. God, when I found out that, he had actually done this to my dog. And see, I don't think he tried to hurt my dog. I don't think that was the intent. I think the intent was to get to me, but my sweet little, I call her a dog, but she's not really a dog. She's an angel wearing a doggy costume. And she has just saved my life so many times, so many ways. She's so smart. She talks with spirits. She chases orbs. There's photos of it everywhere, like literally chasing them, undeniable. So she's really, really gifted and really, really sweet. I think you could probably Google the amazing meditating doggy Snickers, and you'll come up with some videos and see what she does when she goes into these trances and other dimensions. So I believe that Snickers knew what was going on and tried to protect me by absorbing all of that. Well, let me tell you, 4 hours after I left the place that we were staying at for the ceremony where we had that conversation, and remember, one of the last things he said to me was the brujo thing and how they use animals to hurt people. Well, if you've seen my other videos, I got bit. Right there, 4 hours later, punctured my tendons, my ligaments, another one here, this scar is almost all the way gone. So it's just these that are still healing. But I was rendered pretty much useless and, had an infection that the doctors said were probably tetanus because I had lockjaw and, all these weird things. But anyways, that's behind me. It's all healed. And once again, I'm thankful for that experience too. Taught me a whole lot of, new information that I really... I didn't think I wanted to learn. That's the thing, I know we get taught all this stuff with all these new age teachings that, you can only like attracts like, and, you can only attract darkness if you're dark inside or if you're hurting someone else. And once again, I just want to say that is total bullshit. Okay? I mean, turn on the light and look at all the moths come and all the, it's just... There's always, you know what, I watched The Adventures of Merlin. It was on BBC and Netflix, and I really got chills during this statement, but Merlin and Morgana, I think he was talking to the dragon, and he apparently had made a mistake, and, but she was supposed to exist, and he said, the dragon told Merlin, he said, you are forever attached. She is the darkness to your light. Yin yang. So you can't have one without the other. And just because, there is one in your sphere doesn't mean that you necessarily brought it on because you're looking for that. I mean, like I said, I didn't know anything about this stuff. I didn't even believe any of this was possible. in fact, and then as I started to learn that, things like this are possible, that it would, I didn't think it would be so powerful. And maybe, once again, that's part of my naivety, my naivete, and, growing and learning, because, like I said before, nobody wants to give, power to the dark side. But let me tell you, he and other people, they are very powerful. So just because we don't want to acknowledge it or, give it any power, once again, doesn't mean it has to have any power over us, but it is real, and we have to acknowledge it, or at least, respect it or use it as a learning tool. Don't fear it, okay? That which I feared has come upon me. Don't fear it, but be aware that these things are possible, so you can do better than me if something happens next time. Let me tell you, when I found out that that's what happened to my dog, I was just in tears for days. I still am. I just felt like the stupidest, worthless. I felt like a mainstream doctor, Here I am. I'm supposed to know these things, and I'm treating her for all these physical things. And it was energetic all along. So, I'm sorry. I felt like a jerk. My dog almost died, and it took me 4 months to figure it out. So, it is real, whether you want to believe it's real or not. Anyways, recently, last January, we did a show with Shaman Avalon Shakti, clearing curses and crossed conditions. And when I had shared with her some of the things that were going on, everything I shared here with you, and then some. God, I forgot to tell you about the drive home and all these other little weird things. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But she said, Christy, you got to do, like a cleansing or a banishing ritual or something. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? I don't know, I've never taken part in any type of rituals or ceremonies or, anything like that. So anyway, she gave me a few instructions and told me what to do. And, I was going into it thinking, well, okay, I guess we'll just see. We'll see if it works. We'll see how it goes. I have to try because my dog's sick and I stink and there's funky energy going on in the house and essential oils didn't help. Saging, smudging my house every day didn't help. It was very real. And, excuse me. Anyways, we did it, and it was January 11th, which was really cool. It just happened to be the new moon. It just happened to be my cycle. It just happened to be 1/11, and it just happened to be the warmest day of the winter. So we found a little place in the forest by a lake, and what's really cool about that is we didn't know where we were going. I just knew that I needed to find a place where I could get naked and have a fire and not be arrested. So we asked someone that lived over that way, do you know of any of these places? And so basically the only instructions we had was go down such and such highway and turn right after these mailboxes. And I had just found that Merlin series the night before, which was after the Shakti show and realizing this is serious, I need to try something. And of course they introduced Lancelot, so speaking of synchronicities. And anyway, so we turned right and then we see, oh my gosh, it's called Lancelot Lane. So anyways, that was a cool little synchronicity, but kind of really let me know we were doing the right thing. And I did it, however inexperienced and such. And not really with any, expectations. I did have the intention to clear what was going on, but I didn't know if it was going to work. I had no experience or no experience in that at all, so I didn't know. Anyways, I did it, and by the next day, I felt better driving away. I'm like, something feels different, but I didn't want to, just jump in head first and say, oh, it worked, yay, blah, blah. I didn't know. So I just, wanted to be patient and just kind of wait it out and see. And by the next day, Dean was asking me, God, how you feeling, Christy? You look so much better. And Snickers' smell is gone. What's going on? And I'm like, yeah. Me too. That's right. Her smell is gone and she has energy. She's holding her head up high again. She's, not looking like she's dead. And anyway, so it did work. So I don't know. Why did I even get into that story? I mean, I guess just to tell you that, there is hope if these types of things are happening. Energy vampires, psychic vampires, black magicians, brujos, all these things are real, whether you want to believe in it or not. And, nothing wrong with being ignorant and not knowing about these things, but just because you don't know about it, you can't say it doesn't exist. And you also, blaming the recipients of these curses, spells, hexes, etc., certainly isn't making anything any better either. Because, I've fallen for a lot of these, new age teachings like, oh, well, it wouldn't, be able to affect me at all unless, I did something to cause it. And I'm like, all I've ever done to these people is try to be nice to them and love them and give them what they want. And, so, and then you have that guilt factor like, oh, well, I must be a horrible person. And so what does that guilt and self-doubt and blame do? It just furthers the scenario. So, anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to be a crybaby. I thought I was over crying over my sweet little baby. I mean, I had to beg her forgiveness because what a jerk I am. Here she is dying, protecting me, and, that odor came out of it, was one of the symptoms. And, I'm washing my bed every day thinking, ooh, you stink. Instead of like saying, oh, thanks for protecting me, and then finding a way to cure her or to heal her or to get rid of that. So ignorance can be bliss, but it really freaking hurts. Okay, so anyways, that's some of my experiences, and at least my recent experience in the whole black magic thing. And just because I'm aware, it's really not for me. I don't want to read a whole bunch of books on black magic and learn all the ins and outs and whys and hows, and it just doesn't interest me. However, I want to thank them for teaching me because, we have those feelings, a gut feeling, or sometimes I even feel it in my heart, my chest, my solar plexus, sometimes my throat, or sometimes my head. And so each of these experiences is teaching me where to look and deciphering those negative energies. I mean, sometimes you get those energies, say somebody's like on crack or meth or something walking by. Like I've always been able to feel that and know to avoid it. Sometimes it's just because someone's depressed. Sometimes it's because someone is a Fed and trying to set you up and encourage you to bomb buildings, or, sometimes it's a black magician. Sometimes it's a vampire. So, pay attention to those symptoms in your body. Where do you feel it? Is it your gut? Is it your solar plexus? Is it your heart? Is it your throat? Like when I look back, these people that I've had these experiences with, before I knew what was going on, I not only felt it in my gut, but I would feel it in my throat. Why? Because they were trying to stifle me. And it's funny because even when I tried to speak around them, I could never find the right word. Like it was in my head, but it wouldn't come out of my mouth. It was just crazy. And I don't know. Anyways, so just pay attention to these signs. It doesn't mean it's always black magic, but it doesn't mean it's never either. So, if you want, share some of your experiences because we're all in this together. And I know that people say, oh, you have to embrace it and, we're all one. And personally, I have a really hard time with that. We may be cut from the same cloth, maybe, but I mean, who really knows the answer to that? I just know that there is a difference between right and wrong. There is a difference between black and white. Some people, that path works for them. Good for you. You have a right to exist. but stay the fuck out of my life, okay? Because I'm not interested. It's never going to be part of my life. I'm not interested in what you're doing, and I'm not dazzled by your intelligence and, you know, all of these things you try to lure us in with. I'm not your lady of fire or anything else. I never will be. I'm not a chosen one. I'm not a healer or a saint or any of that. I'm just a regular girl trying to make sense of all this crazy stuff. I mean, I didn't ask for a magical life, okay, but it's there. And, you know, obviously there's different degrees. Life itself is magic, is it not? The flowers blooming, you know, the planets all in alignment and, you know, rotating on the axis and, you know, not running into each other and having things spin perfectly and, you know, oxygen and, you know, all of these things. It's all magic. But there is a way to manipulate these things for good or bad. And, you know, it is your choice what you choose to do. I just wanted to speak about my experience because I know that, you know, people are afraid to speak about their experiences. I mean, even I am. I'm kind of, you know, it took me a while. I'm like, I'm embarrassed. You know, I'm like, God, I should have known. And, you know, hindsight's 20/20 in retrospect. Obviously, now I can look back and piece everything together, and it makes sense like a perfect puzzle. Just, I mean, totally. But while I was in it, I was so dumb. I was so naive. I had no clue. I'm thinking, oh, wormwood will get rid of parasites. Yeah, but do they get rid of black magicians? No, unless, of course, you know what you're dealing with. So, anyways, if you are having a situation with this and you need a little help, I'm not an expert. I can tell you what I did. Whether that is suitable for you and what you're going through or not, I have no idea. But Shakti is the bomb when it comes to this stuff. I mean, she does her shamanic journeys and can literally, like, go back into any time in your life and view the entire situation like a movie. If you have any attachment, she can help you remove that as well, or even, you know, past lives or soul retrievals or any contracts or whatever you had made in the past. And Tobias Lars is freaking awesome too. I think he can help you with that. So I would definitely recommend those people if you need help with something like this. Until then, just thanks for listening to me and whatever I had to say. And for listening to me cry. Hey, but that's what we do. Anyways, I'm human. Thank you and good night.